Hi there. Before you jump into this episode, we want to make sure our listeners know about the How Do You Drew Patreon page, where we release exclusive content for our members.
We've shared unedited video versions of podcast episodes, rare Drew Barrymore photos from our digital archives, movie commentaries, and so much more.
We're currently working through a deep dive of each chapter of Little Girl Lost, which, if you don't know, is Drew's out-of-print autobiography released when she was only a teenager. And it's been really good stuff, you guys.
There's already plenty of content to dig into and lots more to come. So join now for as little as $1 a month and support us at How Do You Drew.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/howdoyoudrew to join today. Thank you.
Enjoy the episode.
Hello, and welcome to How Do You Drew?
This is a Drew Barrymore podcast brought to you by thedrewseum.com.
And sponsored by our friends at Positive Medium.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Ashley.
Hello.
Hi, here we are yet again.
Yes, we are. We are here with episode 115. Like, how are we still here? Our passion is just endless.
Given up.
How have we not run out of topics to talk about?
Never.
Yeah, how have we not given up? Like, what was the statistic you read? Like, podcasts a lot of times don't make it past like 10 or something. It was like, I mean, it's, it's hard, but we like it. Guys, we're here for you. And us. A lot of this is for us. Okay, so do we get to like literally jump into Drew Loves right away? Like, how fun.
How lucky.
All right.
I love love.
Okay, we got a lot this week. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Drew loves all things beauty.
Yes, she does.
She loves pierogies.
I had them for dinner last night.
Killing me. You're eating donuts and pizza while we're recording, and now you're telling me that.
I'm so healthy.
Calling you out. Okay, Drew loves Jean Smart. Benny Hill.
Yeah.
Perfect. She loves Hellman's, the mayonnaise.
Okay.
She loves Grease too. I can't believe that wasn't on our list.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's definitely, she always says you can like tell if someone's cool by if they like Grease too. But it's like really campy. Like it's not the same as Grease. Like you have to like them in different ways.
Okay. Got it.
Angie and I used to watch it together and like make fun of it. Yeah. All right. Drew loves A Double Life.
Oh.
She loves Donald Glover.
Okay. Me too.
She loves when people are at least understanding of what someone else is doing.
Basically, she likes tolerance.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. Sit down. We've never had this on the list. Drew loves avocados. Can't believe it had never come up.
I mean, it's just like we just haven't come up. It hasn't come up while we've been doing the podcast. Like, we've heard her heard her proclaim her love for avocados.
She wanted to be buried under an avocado tree, so her body would grow through the roots and into those avocados for her friends to eat.
I love it. I want that too.
Okay, she also loves a good flashback, which I'm like, hell yeah, that's what we're here for most of the time.
True.
And finally, Drew loves salads and soups.
I like salads and soups.
Actually, I shouldn't say finally, because guess what, guys? You get a bonus Drew Love section later on in this episode, because the article that we are covering literally has Drew Love and list stuff. It's fantastic.
I was so happy to see that. It was just like, yes, we love lists. Give us more lists.
Yes, I know. It's so true. Open up her purse and tell us everything that's inside of it.
I want to know. We want to know. It's all part of the details, the Drew details. All right. Okay, so we are going to go into our mailbag for a minute.
You've got mail.
Okay, this is a really cool one out of nowhere. We got a DM on Instagram on our Druseum account from Danielle Geisiger, and she is the woman who created the Marilyn Monroe dress for Drew's 1996 cover of George magazine. So if you don't know, it's a recreation of the Happy Birthday, Mr. President dress with all the, the nude colored with all the rhinestones on it.
Yes.
So this is a really interesting message. She thought originally we were Drew, which is why she was like,
it happens.
Hi, Drew, remember the dress? And I was like, no, but please tell us more.
Yes. Okay, so this is what she wrote to us. I had a couture studio in New York City for 25 years, specialized in one-of-a-kind things for celebrities, print, and events. At the time, I worked a lot with George magazine on many covers. The dress for Drew was special being a lifelong Marilyn fan. So she was like stoked to make this recreation. Yeah. She said lots of research was involved. She needed the correct fabric to be found, which was called cotton marquisette, which it says is found in France. So like there was this like whole thing around it. She said that Drew's PR team only provided a few measurements, so the dress needed to be tight-fitting with very little time on set for changes. And it says that they showed up on the studio in LA, zipped up the dress, and it was a perfect fit. She remembers the big relief and says, "Oh, expertise and experience." She said, "It was a great moment. Also, hundreds of rhinestones applied in numerous long nights."
Amazing.
That's
and
so
she
cool.
Doesn't know where the dress is now, which is such a bummer.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah. She also pointed out that she's only credited in the magazine as a stylist. They didn't actually credit her as designing the dress, which is like kind of a bummer because it sounds like it was a ton of work.
Yeah. And I wonder if she was generally like doing like, I don't know, like how the crediting works with that kind of thing. If they're just like,
good question.
Oh, that encompasses anything to do with the wardrobe.
Right, maybe.
But that's a lot of work to make a whole dress.
It's a lot of work. She now solely designs hats, so I guess she's over the dress thing after this now.
All right. The hats maybe are easier to fit.
But so cool. We love firsthand info from people who did anything with Drew, especially like this. I mean, we throw around the word iconic a lot, but this is one of the iconic magazine covers of her career.
Yeah, it was neat for her to be doing, this Marilyn sort of interpretation with George. And it's a beautiful cover. And I think we've talked about this cover before, but there's nothing of Drew inside, right?
There's one picture in the contents.
Okay.
But you can't see the dress really in that one.
Okay.
And we have talked a lot about Drew and her love of Marilyn Monroe and her various homages and references over the years. We have a whole episode on that if you guys want to check it out.
But yes, we had some good feedback on that from Marilyn fans. So like that was a really fun one that some good research went into.
Yeah, it was a good one.
So the kind comments corner, we're kind of shifting in this episode because there is a reader mail in response to the magazine we're covering that we are using for this segment. So stay tuned for that. All right, so let's go back in time. We do this many times in every episode, but let's do it for This Week in Drew History.
We love a flashback just like Drew. Okay.
Yes.
October 10th, 2009 was Drew's 6th and final, for now, knock on wood, time hosting Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. And it was a record-setting one. It made her the most hosted woman at the time, which unfortunately that record has been broken now. Scarlett Johansson.
Is she 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. But Drew will be on again.
Yeah. God, you know how I feel about this. I'm like, she's right there.
I mean, right away, I'm like, I don't remember a lot of this one because you linked to like the recap of the skits. I'm like, oh my God. And I just like saw, I love Fred Armisen, and they did this like Brenda and Sean thing where they're like really annoying and they're in white like jumpsuits.
Magic fingers. It's like a digital. I didn't really remember it either.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all, but I'm like Drew in like a short brown wig, like hilarious. I mean, wigs are one of the really fun things about Saturday Night Live. Always,
That's true.
Always.
Yeah. It memorably has the Barrymore impressions in the opening monologue where it's supposed to be like her ancestors. That's pretty fun. We have a whole episode at number 98 on ranking the monologues from her times hosting. If you guys want to check that out, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Another pretty memorable skit, probably the most memorable within this appearance, is the Gilly one. So this is Kristen Wiig. If you guys like don't know the Gilly character, it's worth looking up. It's really silly. She's like, is she Italian or oh no,
Drew's her Italian cousin, I think.
Gilly. Yeah, it's Gilly and Gilly. The episode doesn't have like some of our favorites. Like I was like, oh, when was Body Fusion? And that was like a couple years before.
Yeah.
So
it's probably my least favorite of all of our times hosting. It just maybe because I've seen it the least. I don't know, but it just like doesn't grab me.
I need to rewatch it. Like,
well, of course, only like half of it is on Peacock. So good luck.
Of course.
Of course. There is, funnily enough, so our last episode we talked about Drew and her, of course, infamous 1995 flashing of David Letterman. There was a really brief reference to it in the Bill Hader, Vinny Vidici talk show skit. And they talk about it very briefly, but rehearsal photos, because if you don't know, they take all the like press photos of SNL during the rehearsal. So a lot of times they don't match what actually airs, which is like always kind of a trip to me.
It really is.
Yeah, the rehearsal photos show that she like actually gets up on the table or the desk and strips down to this tank top that says Titty Vidici on it.
I couldn't fully read it. But that's so great.
They didn't do that in the episode when it aired.
I realized like that show is put together so quickly with Saturday Night Live. Like they start writing it at the beginning of the week and then they perform it at the end. So like things
change.
They change like at the last minute, and rehearsals, I'm guessing the day before, but who knows?
No, I think it's the day of. It's the same day. Yeah.
Wow. But like, yeah, there are sometimes like wig changes and like rewrites. Anyway, you had made a note here that Justin Long did a cameo as Matthew McConaughey in a skit, which I don't remember it, but he was on stage at the end during the goodbyes. They like always have everybody kind of like in the cast and anyone who appeared usually on stage, and he's holding hands with Drew. And of course, we like have such a fondness for them as a couple, so it's really.
I'm pretty sure they were also like still trying to say they weren't together. I'm like, guys,
hello.
One thing I do love about this episode are the bumper photos. Like these are some of my favorites of her by Mary Ellen Matthews. As always, she's been the SNL staffer forever, but these are amazing. So if you guys don't know them, we'll definitely share some. I love the like stars on her face in some of them. There's like one with the big red balloon.
The colorization.
The colors, yeah. She just looks so freaking cool.
It's really neat. Like, yeah, the way they messed with the saturation of the colors. And she styles so cool. Like, we tend to love her style in this area anyway.
Yeah. Oh, 2009.
Right? Like,
we have a whole episode on that too, guys, if you want to listen to that.
That's true. Guys, we've gone over so many little pieces of things we talk about. The crossovers are just endless.
Yeah, we could be here forever if we tried to say every episode we're referencing in the past.
All right, so let's kind of come back to the present and talk about what's new with Drew.
Here we go with the news, everybody.
Okay, so Drew made a fun little appearance at the Atlanta CBS station, WBS, to promote the show. I guess they like must do really well there. I saw some picture where the numbers, it was like the number one for the show was in that market. So that must be why she went. And there's a lot of really cute pictures of her with the staff there. A bunch of people had posted stuff. She also did a sit-down interview, but I haven't been able to find that video online. I even asked the interviewer and she said that it would be on there, but I don't see it. So it's a bummer. Love to see that.
So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to see it. And I just noted that she's in like a monochromatic outfit, like head to toe gray, including the shoes. And I feel like that's something they're doing a lot with like her style.
I've also noticed, and I just like messaged Matthew Kilgore about it. She seems to be really into these very wide belts right now. Have you noticed that? Yeah, like belting everything.
Yep. But yeah, it's cute. And like, I mean, I guess maybe we're trying to see what the season 6 style is.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, I feel like that's where it's at.
Yeah. Like kind of cool. All right. So another event. So she's kind of been like out a little bit.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Drew also attended a Support and Feed fundraising event, which is an organization founded by Billie Eilish's mom, Maggie Baird, that is, quote, working toward a global shift to an equitable plant-based food system, unquote. Rad.
Sounds cool.
Like,
yeah.
Super cool. And Drew looks really cute and kind of natural. Like she looks like she just
you're
spun
right.
out.
And we love Billie Eilish in my house. So I'm always like happy to see Drew and her together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Sadder news, but not surprising news.
Yeah.
We've been reporting on this for a really long time, guys. Like we saw the writing on the wall probably over a year ago, like Flower Beauty, something was going on, aka nothing was going on. And we've just kind of been feeling like, something's going on. And then Drew actually told us in person when we were at the Drew Barrymore show that she was stopping both Drew Magazine and Flower Beauty. And for some reason, I'm like, we keep telling you guys, but like people don't want to accept it, you know? We're like, it's straight from her mouth.
Not everyone is hearing us.
Yeah. She said like, she was just doing too much and she was like going to have a nervous breakdown. And we were totally like,
what was that thing you said? Like the balance beam?
Yeah. The Simone Biles balance beam moment. Cause she'd been talking about that earlier that day. Okay. So anyway, Mesa, which was sort of like the parent company to Flower Beauty, they finally gave an official statement to, a publication called Beauty Independent. And it did confirm the end of Flower Beauty. Sad, sad, sad. We will link to that article. But just a couple little quotes. They said, Flower Beauty will always hold a special place in Mesa's story. As part of our strategic evolution, Mesa has decided to exit the color cosmetics category, which is like kind of interesting because I don't think that's the real reason.
I thought that was interesting too.
They also said, we have been fortunate enough to have Drew Barrymore as a great founder partner, and we are grateful for the incredible journey we have shared.
Oh.
The end.
It's sad because we've like,
really
even though
sad.
I'm not a huge makeup wearer, like we've been, of course, supporting the brand since it started.
So long, 12 years.
Yeah.
More than almost 13.
It's a bummer, but I'm also like, there are so many like things we got out of it, like different photo shoots and
oh my gosh.
I mean, I don't know. Drew had to do what she had to do, but it's another
we fully support her doing what's best for her, but it's also like the end of an era and it makes us a little sad.
Era. Exactly. Yeah. Those transitions are always hard. Okay, so then as this our like last news before we get into the weekly topic, Drew also attended the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame event where she was honored as an inductee. Hey, that's pretty cool.
So cool.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. I am so honored.
And she had Valerie Bertinelli, Ember Truesdale, who was a longtime Flower Film staffer and the current president.
Yeah.
And then also the Drew Barrymore show's executive producer, Jason Kurtz, our buddy Jason.
Our friend Jason, yeah. We've been on a Zoom call with him, guys. We know him.
Yeah, so she had a little crew with her, and that's really
so
cool.
Hey Droobies. We are here to tell you about our website hosts, Positive Medium, and they sponsor the podcast. We've been clients of theirs for over 10 years, and we use them for all our website needs on thedrewsium.com.
Their services include customized web design, professional coding, search engine optimization and marketing, plus hosting, which has been huge for us for many years.
Plus, their incredible customer service has been one of our favorite features. They've literally saved our site quite a few times, and they always help with minor troubleshooting in a matter of minutes. So whether that's coding issues or back-end questions, etc., we reach out, we get help immediately, which is just invaluable.
Lucky you. To our listeners, Positive Medium is offering 25% off any managed WordPress hosting plan using our promo code DREW. That's DREW. Visit our friends over at positivemedium.com. Thank you. Okay, so I guess we can get into this really fun weekly topic. We realized we were due for a magazine.
Yeah, I know. It's been kind of a little bit of time. And this has always been one that I really loved, probably because it hit right when, in 1998. We've become super fans at this point.
I was trying to remember if I bought it off the stands, and I had to have.
I bet you did.
I had to have. Anyway, continue.
It's just one of those, like, the photos, I'm like, oh, they're really cute. They're not like, oh, this is so important to me, the photos. But I always love
the nostalgia.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of tidbits galore, as we were mentioning in this one that we really love. just a little context on top for anybody who wasn't around in the 90s buying magazines. Before we had this crappy Us Weekly that we have now, prior to that, Us was a really cool magazine. It was a publication from the editors of Rolling Stone, and it had always like incredible articles, these amazing photo shoots. Like I had so many pictures on my wall from Us. They always did that Young Hollywood issue that was amazing.
Yes.
And then in March 2000, they switched over to the Weekly, which became just like it's crap.
It basically really quickly became like a rag mag.
Yeah.
Tabloid.
And it's like horrible quality paper and printing late these days.
But you know, the publication industry is weird. It's either like that, or it's like really nice and kind of expensive, you know, like an art magazine.
Because we love paper.
Oh my God. I feel like I should have this ready all the time.
I love paper.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't like crappy paper, Us Weekly.
We do not. And guys, speaking of another episode, because we're just going to reference ourselves for the rest of eternity, on episode 15, which feels like forever ago, 100 episodes ago.
Oh, exactly 100. That's so cool.
It's so cool. We covered the 1997 Us cover feature. So if you want to go back and listen to that, like, wild that it just we didn't decide to do this because 100 episodes had passed. Like, anyway, so we have a couple things just before we jump into the article. The article was written by Johanna Schneller. She interviewed Drew again in 2015 for a Canadian magazine, or I don't know if it's like a newspaper magazine called,
I don't know.
Yeah, the Globe and Mail, but we can't access it. It's behind a paywall. So be cool to see that, considering how fun this article is.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll be including lots of direct quotes from the article because it's written in such a fun way, and the author like really made an effort. I love that you're describing it this way, like catching Drew's like voice, like in her enthusiastic way of speaking. She's like,
yeah,
really trying to get it across. Like, it's fun. So if like we're gonna read a lot, but it's fun to like read it through, like look at it, because there's lots of like italicizing.
I know.
Like,
I was gonna
so
say,
fun.
Like, just a little behind the scenes for you guys. Normally, when I pull direct quotes into our notes, I italicize them. But there was so many italics in this article, I couldn't do that. So I ended up using like a highlighter instead.
Mm-hmm. You know what?
Okay.
Yeah.
Some other credits. The photos were done by Marc Baptiste.
Mm-hmm.
And hair and makeup both were done by the old standby Jillian Fink, also known as Jillian Dempsey.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to talk a little about Jillian? Because I know we've mentioned her, but
no, it's fun. It's fun to kind of do it in situations like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So she did literally dozens of photo shoots with Drew from the mid 90s through the early 2000s. Like, she was the one that was always, she usually did makeup, but she sometimes would do hair as well. The earliest collabs that I could find in our records, which are a little incomplete for hairstyling and makeup credits, we're working on that. But they were from 1995. She did the Italian Glamour, which is that like leopard print shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then she also did Saturday morning cartoons. So that's really cool. I don't know which came first.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
I found a quote where she said, I met Drew Barrymore at a Vanity Fair shoot and she and I became fast friends. I worked with her and traveled all over the world with her for 7 or 8 years. But the only Vanity Fair shoot that Drew did like in that time frame would have been 1999. Yeah. So I think she might be misremembering a little bit there, which is okay.
I'm wondering if it like kicked off like more of a consistent thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe I don't know. They work together so much. It's hard to believe that like that was a turning point. But
that must have somehow been memorable. Like, who knows?
Yeah. It's kind of a unknown fact, and the only reason we know this is because it's in her divorce papers to Tom Green. But Drew was a silent part owner of Jillian's first beauty brand, which was called Deluxe Beauty. So that's like kind of a neat thing. We loved Deluxe. We used to go to Sephora and try it on. I had
get Chimpy Blue.
Chimpy Blue was the eyeliner. Loved it. And I think I finally figured out the red lipstick I liked was called Clovis. And sounds
familiar.
They were really nice. Like, I remember really liking those products.
Yeah, I feel like I had another like blue, like chimpy blue, and then one other like greeny one, and I loved them so much.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I remember us putting Deluxe Beauty on. It was before one of the premieres,
the Full Throttle premiere.
Yeah,
totally. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
and it's so funny. I always forget that I met Jillian at a Sephora event.
I did too.
On Halloween in 2004. I don't know why she had an event on Halloween, but it must have been in Orange County. That's where I was living. And I went there and I got to meet her. I have a picture with her. And I think I'm sure I told her I was a huge Drew fan. She was super sweet. So it's funny. I always forget that happened. And then I go, wait a minute.
That's so funny.
We have a lot of those. Like, we've met a lot of people in Drew's circle.
Right. Because we're like, I mean, like when I tell the story of meeting Drew the first time and then seeing Chris and just saying like, Chris, like people don't know him unless they're paying attention to like her crew, you know?
Of course.
So anyway, I was trying to remember if it was Jillian in MTV Diary, which is an incredible program that we loved, and you probably have heard us talk about it before. But there's this hilarious little bit with like Flossie. And did Jillian draw on the mustache and the eyebrows?
Yeah, they're actually playing with the Deluxe Beauty products at that point. I forgot.
Yeah, so they're like, they put like draw eyebrows on Flossie and like a little mustache. And then Drew says, I don't know what the context is, but she's like, a little mustache. Anyway, yeah, there are a couple like funny little bits. There are many little bits from Diary that we in our personal life quote.
I know. It just seeped into our brains. They call Drew and Jillian call each other weird little elfie twins. And we definitely stole that.
Yeah, we definitely stole it. And then one more credit before we jump into the photos. The styling on this shoot was done by John Moore. So we had our kind of detour with Jillian. We're back to it, you guys. Okay, so the photos, you mentioned they're not super exciting, but there's a lot of nostalgia.
They're very sweet and cozy, which we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So they were shot in Santa Monica on the beach, and looks kind of like maybe the pier as well. And I love your note here. Like, it's on the beach, but it very much feels fall. And I just think of, I've been to like either Santa Monica or Venice in like the fall, and it's cold. Like
the wind.
Like, the wind can be really cold. So I'm just like, hey, she's wearing like a sweater here. And yeah, it feels like weird.
Yeah.
But you would not identify it as beach immediately. That's for sure.
In fact, like, I think only because I've been there so often did I at some point put it together. Like, I don't think the magazine states it's Santa Monica, but it's very clearly Santa Monica if you know the area. I could even identify one of the pictures looks like it's done like in a parking lot right next to Shutters, which is a like famous place there.
So, I want to just like talk about the pictures a little bit. So I think the cover is darling.
I love this cover. It's so cute.
It's so cute. It's a like beautiful framing of her face, quite close up. It's gorgeous. She's got a little smirk, like
little Drew smirk, and she's just cozy with her sweater.
It's very, very adorable. The photo in the credits I've always loved because it's black and white. It always feels a little bit more like, I don't know, moody or something.
Yeah, it's definitely more moody. She's like in like tree branches too or something like that.
Right. That's like kind of a
wood or maybe.
The coloring of it is like kind of reminding me of the Mark Seliger Rolling Stone black and white
2000?
picture. Just the coloring.
Okay, I see it.
And then the one other picture that I feel like I had a copy of this page that has like this writing happily ever after, like Drew cut out of it.
Me
at
too.
Some point, right? Like I
have that too. That's so funny. I love this picture. This is probably my favorite. She's hanging from these like exercise rings, or I don't know, gymnastics rings. They're right there, like at Muscle Beach. You can see the pier in the background of one of the pictures. Yeah, you can see the butterfly tattoo, which I thought is fun because the last issue of Us has the butterfly picture.
Yes.
But yeah, this one's just so playful. Even though I think her shoes are really weird in this, it's a really cute picture.
Yeah, kind of overall, it feels like very toned down. So like, she was styled and she was like, the makeup was done, but it's super natural.
Very much. Not supernatural, but super
very
space natural.
Yes. they're really sweet. And she's basically just wearing all black. It's a very toned down, like the whole thing's very toned down.
Yeah. And I do love the last one as well, where she's like on a car in the parking lot because you can see her cross tattoo.
Yeah.
Did you guys know we love a tattoo peek? Because we do.
We definitely do. And then, of course, the magazine, as magazines do, they have like sometimes other like unrelated photos. So those appear inside this. Like there's a picture of who is that with Drew?
Okay, so yeah, there's a picture.
Does it
of
say
Drew,
it's Jade?
And so there's a picture of Drew holding hands with a woman, and it says it's Jade, but it is not. I don't know who it is. I tried to like figure it out. It was at that Screen Actors Guild 50th anniversary thing we were just talking about.
Oh yeah,
and I couldn't figure out. I'm like, it could just be some woman who was taking her to the stage, who
like
knows?
helping her. That's true. That's true. And then there's a picture of Drew with Luke. She kind of gets into that lovey-dovey thing. And then there's also a photo of Drew with Courtney Love and Eric Erlinson in the background. And there's some quotes from Courtney. So it's neat that they kind of like included all these relevant things, but unfortunately we're wrong about Jade. That's a bummer.
I know. There are a lot of outtakes from this photo shoot, which is exciting. They've been available over the years through photo agencies, and then also other magazines printed them, especially the 17 from December 1999 cover and feature on Drew featured some of these, and including those like kind of amusement park looking ones where it looks like she's on a ride of some sort. I tried to find the ride. I didn't have any luck.
Aw. Dang. But yeah, there's some really cool outtakes. I feel like we do have like a full page of one of these outtakes that's like from a foreign magazine or something.
Yeah.
I had forgot or just haven't thought about for a while that it was used as the cover for 17 like a year after.
Yeah.
Cheating.
I know, cheating.
But at least they printed like all different ones.
That's true.
I mean, that's the good thing.
I'll give them that. All right, are you ready for the article?
Yeah.
This is the main reason we're here, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Anne mentioned, the article is called Happily Ever After, and it's got that classic us font that it's like put in on the page, which I love.
Kind of blocky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blocky angled.
And the byline, which we always kind of like to put this at the top because it tells us what's to come, is after a rocky start as a movie star, she was an alcoholic at age 9. Drew Barrymore has come up smelling like ivory soap and looking like a slice of pink and yellow birthday cake. Of course, there is that little matter of a family curse, ... It's like ominous at the end.
I like it.
But that birthday cake thing, I mentioned in our last episode at the end when we were talking about this article, like I've always remembered that birthday cake thing. I think we even used that. Remember how on the old version of the Drewsium, we used to put a little quote about Drew, and I think that was one of them once.
I bet we did, because that would have made a perfect little image. We used to put like the image of whatever the descriptive thing was. Okay, so the article opens with Drew exclaiming that she's always wanted to have head lice, which is like so silly. But it was all because she thought it would be a great excuse to get out of school. Because, like, you know, every kid who gets lice, you don't want to give it to other kids.
Yeah, we
That's
know how
so
Drew
hilarious.
felt about school as a child.
Yes, it's just a funny introduction to how kind of random Drew can be also.
Yeah.
And then Drew stops to gush gratitude to the waiter who's just brought her iced tea. We know she is a fiend for the iced tea. And this is the first kind of quote of her. She says, "All I want in life is a cold drink." She drinks and makes enthusiastic ooh, noises. I love it. I love it.
So then she goes on to, like, coming back to the head lice. She says her karma is probably going to be that she's going to get lice later in life and she'll have to suffer.
Before you get into these quotes, like, I love that the writer says that Drew, quote, launches headlong into everything, including these stories. But it's like, yes, she does. When she goes like full in.
So she talks about getting allergic reactions when she was first meeting with who we know to be Wayne Mazer, who was the photographer of the Guest campaign. And then again, more recently, while she was doing Ever After Press. And it says, both times she was covered with hideous, like, blotches, like a pufferfish that has acne or something. Truism.
You know, those cool little isms that we do.
Sometimes I feel like a puffer fish with acne. I totally get that.
The way that Drew describes things are accurate descriptions. And that's one of the reasons why it's so great. Like they make us laugh and feel what she's trying to describe. It's so great. So Drew also shares that spontaneous changes, like those from allergic reactions, freak her out because like gradual ones are okay. Like suddenly finding that she likes jalapenos or getting her hair done or like the Grateful Dead and exercise. Like,
yeah, she's like, these changes are fine.
When I'm like, my tastes are changing versus like your body's being puffy. Like, what a funny description. And I then after this kind of flurry of stories, I like that the article says that Drew, quote, sucks in a head full of iced tea. She beams at me. I have known her for 5 minutes.
If that doesn't accurately sum up meeting Drew or hanging out with Drew, even if you don't really know her, I don't know what does. It's so good.
It's so good.
Okay, so I had to pull this whole paragraph because we always love these when in the article it like sets the scene. Where are they? What is she wearing? And this one does it so masterfully. Johanna, way to go.
I love it.
So she says, on this August day on a tiny restaurant patio in West Hollywood, Drew Barrymore, 23, is wearing a blue button-down shirt, beat-up khakis, and clunky, funny shoes. When she's not playing with her hair, she tucks it behind her ears, each of which sports 5 earring holes, all empty. She smells like ivory soap. Drafts of clean air wash over me as she leans forward or sits back. She looks like a college junior. Not the new kid anymore, but not quite ready to graduate. She looks like a big, happy slice of pink and yellow birthday cake. She looks, for possibly the first time in her 22-year career, her age. Which is like, it's funny. Like, I still can't look at her in 1998 and be like, she looks like a college kid. But she could have been. Like, she...
Right. It's kind of weird. Like, I feel like she's 22, but I'm also like, I could be convinced, even though I know Drew so well, like, she looks like she's 28. Or like when I think about her career and everything she was doing at this point, like she's only 22. Like we're always doing that. And I love that you pulled a couple of examples of like what the outfit that she was describing might have been like, because we have such an archive of Drew's like appearances and everything that we can kind of look like this is what it done. And
yeah. We have pictures from August 98 of her in blue button-up shirts. So we'll share some of those in the gallery. Yeah.
And I was trying to think of what like chunky, funny shoes she would have been wearing. Like
I don't know.
I can't think of like all I can think of is like 99, like those like Adidas sandals or something. Like
yeah, it could be those.
Anyway, so this is another kind of funny description of the way Drew talks. So the writer observes that Drew talks in stream of consciousness sentences that Drew refers to as, quote, verbal waterfall syndrome. Feels kind of like Drewism adjacent again.
I feel like we need to use that more. She definitely has that.
I think so too.
It just like gushes out of her.
Flagging that one.
But then Johanna points out that Drew is not to be underestimated, because she has a light inside of her and she lets that light shine. And guess what? Someone called Drew a light. Take a drink, guys.
It is no surprise that she is described this way, guys. If you know anything about her, she is a light. Okay, so then the article goes on to explain. It says everyone who knows her loves her. The writer is told things like, quote, she's a tireless philanthropist, a sponge who soaks up information, a vegetarian, an animal rights activist, an advocate for safe sex and optimism. She has a little man in her, quote unquote, her father used to say. She's adorable, meaning you can't not adore her. She's an honest-to-God hippie, a ball of warm golden love. Guys, this is another sun. Take another drink.
I love that one. A ball of warm golden love. That's our girl. So we get some quotes from some of the people. I love that this author like went and talked to a bunch of people who know her. So Andy Tennant, who of course is a director of the Amy Fisher Story and Ever After. Mm-hmm. Love this quote. He said, she's a pinball. Bang, bang, bang. There's so much life to live right now. Today, by 10, it's infectious. You start to think that anything is possible. Yes, and Andy.
Yes. And then Edward Norton said, she is one of the very few people I know who has a sincere and self-motivated desire to give energy back to other people.
Ooh, that's so true.
I just have like one thought about that. I was like, well, probably leaving like not a lot for herself.
Well, we know that.
I kind of get
She's
that.
the lowest priority on the rung. We know that.
Yeah. She's getting better.
Yeah, she's getting better. And then Courtney Love, who was a good friend at the time, says she really does not have a bad bone in her body. She is non-malevolent. She's like a sister to me, somebody I would really fight to protect. And she brings that out in all sorts of people.
That's so true too. People want to protect her.
Yeah.
Like, is that what Whoopi Goldberg or
Oh, Mary Louise Parker said that. I think.
I think something like you want to just take care of her, like everyone, something like that, or watch out for her, something to that effect. Like Drew brings that out.
Definitely.
And the writer notes how strangers come up to Drew every single day, of course, but there's a couple like kind of fun examples. So it says Carla Hacken, who was the senior vice president at Fox 2000, tells a story of at least 7 people coming to their table during a dinner. And she said Drew was so nice to every person, so unruffled. And each time she was able to go directly back to our conversation. Like, as I was saying, my take on the script. She handled it with such grace and poise. She was so adult.
I can totally envision it. Like, you can totally see that.
Right.
She does it like on her show. Like, she can just be talking to someone in the audience and then turn around and like go into professional mode. Yeah.
Yes.
And I love this. There's also another really brief story about a lady working behind the counter at McDonald's in New Jersey who burst into tears when Drew walked in. And then it says, Drew being Drew cried right along with her. I always loved that line so much. It's so true.
I loved the idea of making Drew cry. We've done it.
We're so good at it.
So there's some fun notes on why Drew says she loves acting. So she says, the character I'm playing now loves chocolate, and I hate chocolate. I would rather barf than eat chocolate. But how much fun is it to play someone who loves chocolate?
So can I interject and be like, I don't know, but I have to think of Josie Geller. It has to be who she was talking about, eating the brownie at the club.
Loves chocolate.
Yeah.
And then she gives another example. She says, or in Ever After when I'm dealing with pain with my stepmother. And yeah, I totally think of my own life and how much I am in need to have that conversation with my own mother. Ooh. And in Scream, she said, in Scream, when I was 3 years old, something really weird happened where a man tried to break into my house and I was there alone. And it changed the way I slept forever. You were there alone at 3? And also, what the hell?
What the hell?
70s? All right. Yeah. And then she says, and Julia, oh my God, Julia from The Wedding Singer, she is the woman that I long to be, the perfect girl. She is so easy. She is so not complex. I love that. And then the writer notes that Drew will never not be complex because she thinks way too much.
Oh, I like that. So the article kind of runs down Drew's former bad girl movie roles, which we all are familiar with, and how she's moved away from that. And there's a fun quote from Nancy Juvonen, who, of course, is her partner in Flower Films. Nancy says, we used to say we had a mandate against wild girl parts. Now we just say we don't love them. Unless, of course, it's the best trailer park slut script ever. Nancy!
I love that so much.
I mean, I'd be here for Drew playing a trailer park slut again.
So good. Okay, so the article does get into the early days of Flower Films, which was started in 1995. It says with a laptop computer and a notebook full of phone numbers. It says that it mentions their 1996 RV trip, which we mentioned recently because there was some tidbit. Do you remember what it was?
Oh, yeah.
The pot thing. Leaving pot in a hotel room.
Oh, yeah. That's right. In New Orleans. Yep.
All right. Back to it. So she mentions that trip to the RV trip in 1996 that she took with Nancy. And she said they would record ideas that they had. Like, where are those tapes?
Oh, my God.
They're probably gone. But how cool would that be to just have like them like
that would
spewing
be
their own
amazing.
ideas? Flower Films archives.
I know. Who's doing it? We should be doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
But now we're in 1998 and they are a full-fledged company. At that time, they had an all-female staff and a projects in development. And it's kind of wild because like their first official production hadn't even come out yet when this article was out. It's really neat.
Kind of cool. Yeah.
The description of their offices, love, because we have been lucky enough to see this mostly on MTV Diary. So this description, their offices on Sunset Boulevard in West Hollywood are MTV meets Romper Room. The walls painted yellow and green and midnight blue and decorated with photos and movie posters and an amusingly large 45 RPM record of Yellow Submarine. And I went and was able to pull like a screen cap of it because there is that tiny little bit of like diary footage on YouTube. And when they show it, Drew says, she points to it and says, because you have to have the Beatles everywhere. So I thought that was fun.
It's really cute. We love, again, like descriptions of spaces.
Like why? Why do we love them so much?
Because we love her, and there's always like fun details. Like, you know, I feel like this was making me think of like, they were talking about her house in like 95 and how there were like rooms painted all these bright colors and like, it's just so Drew. So anyway, and we know that she's made her offices fun. Like that was something that she did. So she notes that in September, they had wrapped principal photography for Never Been Kissed. The Fox executive vice president, Kevin McCormick, said, 3 years, that's record time. The deal works because Drew knows the audience she wants to reach. And I love that, like, it says kind of after this that Courtney Love is quoted as saying, Drew knows her face, which is so true. Like, she knows the power of being Drew, even though she doesn't understand herself as Drew Barrymore.
Yeah,
you know?
That's interesting. What a weird life to be famous like that.
To be, like, so famous, like, to be iconic from the time you're, like Todd Gold
really
said, like, iconic since Gertie.
Yeah. And then Nancy says, when I first met her, I used to say she was an 8-year-old boy and a 40-year-old woman in the same body. Now I see a mature young businesswoman who is not only looking after her own best interests, but also has a lot of serious people asking that she look after their best interests too. And she's doing it. Super cool.
Hell yeah. A little bit more about Never Been Kissed. So Fox originally wanted to cast a very stereotypically unattractive actress, and Drew had tried to convince them that it's not her appearance that makes her different from everyone else. And yeah, this is so silly because we know that when Drew was kind of dressing herself down to play Josie Grossi, the studio was like, no, you can't be like,
it's too far.
Yeah,
it's too ugly.
Too far. No, you can't do that to Drew Barrymore.
God, it's like you can't satisfy them, Hollywood.
It's so silly. Yeah. And then the vice president, Kevin McCormick, he said, Drew kept talking about a caterpillar who turns into a butterfly, which is a story she connects to. Yeah, she does.
Oh, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it is.
I also like that Josie Grossi is definitely quote unquote like unattractively styled, but Josie Geller present day isn't like horrible looking. So I love that like
She's
Drew
just meant
kind
to
of
be awkward. Yeah,
identified. It's not just that she looks a certain way. It's that she just like doesn't get it. She doesn't know how to be cool.
She's out of touch.
Yeah. Okay, so we get the usual rundown of the Barrymore history and how very young Drew followed in their footsteps with addictions. Of course.
And you know where to go for more of that.
If you want to know more about that,
go to our Patreon for our Little Girl Lost breakdown.
Patreon.com/HowDoYouDrew.
Yeah, we have 16 exclusive episodes about how all that went down. And then, of course, we get like the same old background on her parents, Jade taking her to clubs as a child. I did like this little anecdote.
Yeah, me too.
Apparently, Gary Busey, who was on the same party circuit, nicknamed Drew the Badger because she was shorter than everyone else, moved faster, and darted around close to the ground. Crazy. Gary Busey, so my God.
I mean, Gary Busey is kind of a kook, so I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as usual, Drew does not blame her parents for what happened. This is a constant. She said her parents had problems of their own. She said, I learned early on that my family, as far as my mother and father, were not an option. Once again, like this is said explicitly in Little Girl Lost. Like she has epiphany with her father, like he can't be a father, and then with her mother, she can't be a mother. Like
crazy.
Yeah.
She lists her hard air quotes godparents, Anna Strasberg and Steven Spielberg. And the reason I'm saying that is because people think that she was like born into this privilege and that she grew up with them. That's not the case. They became honorary paternal and maternal figures in her life.
Yes.
So she lists them as people who, quote, had dreams and saw them through, but didn't hurt people along the way. And that was the greatest lesson. You can make your destiny be this amazing entity, but you don't have to fuck people over.
That's so true. Like, that was a real life takeaway.
Yeah. And then, of course, she like laughs about the story about Steven Spielberg covering up all her Playboy pictures with superimposed clothes. She said she loved it because it was funny and fatherly, but it didn't make her feel bad. Like, it wasn't like guilting her.
Yeah, totally. And then she has a lot of nice things to say about co-stars that she had in the past. So she's adopted as family periodically. Like, she's had many of these work families.
Yeah, many.
But she talked about Goldie Hawn and Whoopi Goldberg. And then she talked about Jeff Bridges. And I just liked the Jeff Bridges thing because it wasn't so long ago that he was on the show. And she was like,
and it was a very similar thing that she said to him,
like paternal. Like, she was like, I think she always felt like he was like fatherly. So she said that he was so kind on the set, like kept her grounded when it was a super strange time in her life. And I hadn't really thought about, like, she was 13.
Yeah.
And like
and this
going
is like
through
the New York club time for her. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad I was like remembering that like they did talk about that kind of paternal thing. And it was sweet. It was kind of sweet to see them on the show. And like,
it was a really good one.
There was some tenderness, but anyway, one of those many examples where Drew has like found sort of a fatherly figure, a family figure on a set.
Examples. I think we want to do an episode on that eventually. Okay. But anyways, as far as her actual biological parents, at this point, she doesn't see Jade by choice. And John sometimes lives in an apartment above her garage, which is like exactly what she was just telling Bill Maher.
Yes.
And that he was coming and going without her knowledge. And she says, quote, at times it's painful and at times I'm so at one with it. And that's taken me a lot of years. It's taken me a lot of therapy. AKA call back to Little Girl Lost. So I love that this next part is sort of like, why does this work? Like, why is this girl so lovable and why is she not annoying? Like, it could be annoying how she is, but she's not.
She pulls it off. So it describes, this is at one point, Drew actually says to the author, it's nice when you get a cold. It makes you appreciate being healthy so much. And I nod enthusiastically.
I like that nod enthusiastically is italicized. Like the author almost can't believe that she's like going along with this.
Right.
But it's so true. I've said that so many times. I know I got it from this article, but it's so true. When you can freaking breathe after your nose is stuffed up, you're just like, oh my God, what a gift.
Well, I feel like I think about that when I have like a foot or like a hand that hurts and I'm like, oh, I so like need this so much that it makes you appreciate like not having it suddenly.
Totally.
Anyway, the Home Prize director, Dean Pariseau, thinks it's because he says Drew genuinely likes people. She looks at you and finds something that she likes rather than something she doesn't.
That's so true. Even to this day, like sometimes she has people on her show where I'm like, meh, they're a little problematic or whatever. And she's like, has nothing but positive things.
Yeah.
And then we get this really great part from Courtney Love. So she says she loves that Drew is self-made and it makes Courtney appreciate the simpler things in life. And then here's this great story. It says, one night, Love threw open Barrymore's closet, surveyed its jumbled, shiny, floaty, floral, and butterflied contents, and said, this has got to stop. I can get you fabulous gowns, anything you want. Barrymore said, I don't want any gowns as long as I wear flowers in my hair. And Love said, but Drew, then you don't get the best dress. Yes, Barrymore replied, but you get the best soul. Yes.
That is so, like, I feel like in certain instances, if someone said it, I'd be like, oh God.
Right.
But I'm like, yes.
That's the author's point, though. Like, why are we not annoyed by this? It's so lovey-dovey, golden ball of love, but it's like amazing.
It is her. That's like somehow that actually is her. All right. So we mentioned there's a Drew love segment, but we got to get into the Drew hate segment, which comes first. So,
I hate it. Right? Hate it.
We love when Drew hates.
Right, so here we go. So this, we've got flies. She said they come and vomit on your food. And by the way, they're probably just sitting on a steaming pile of poo.
I hate flies too.
when you think about that, for sure. Why? All right. And then she hates being angry. She says it's a real waste of time. She hates when people shit talk. And she hates when toilet paper comes off of a roll one square at a time. And she says, you can't do anything with it. She wails.
I can so see her saying all of this.
Me too. All right. So we're going to jump into Drew Loves.
I love love.
All right. Secondary Drew Loves section. Here we go. Drew loves macaroni and cheese, sleeping late, watching movies in bed while eating macaroni and cheese, the Otis Redding song, That's How Strong My Love Is, children, quote, I long to have a family, she says, therapy, making up words, and here are some examples, karmatic, horrification, and questionative. She loves taking long drives and sticking her head out of the window like a dog.
Of course she does.
Yep. And she loves telling people that they have food caught between their teeth or gunk in their eye. Quote, you have to tell the person. Don't leave them hanging that way. It's just human stuff. There's nothing gross or wrong with it. You've got to watch each other's back.
Passionate. Very passionate. All right. So there's some more lovey. Guys, you know what she loves more than anything?
I love love.
So specifically about Luke Wilson. He's the greatest person I've ever met. Hands down, everything I do, I think about how it affects him. Aww. And the article says that Wilson is a nice guy, people say, calm, understanding, reliable, and says he's good for Barrymore.
Oh, he really was.
Yep. And there's another quote from Luke. It says, I just asked her out. It just seemed natural. She makes you feel that at ease. She makes so much of an effort in her dealings with people. She's so smart and funny and ready to laugh. She has a way of making you forget all the stuff you may have heard or read about her.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah. And then there's a little more tidbit here. So it says Drew will be spending her third Christmas with Luke's family in Texas. And Luke talks about how nervous she was the first time. And he said, I remember thinking, how could this, of all things, make you nervous? And then I realized maybe she wasn't used to this. Maybe it made her think about her own family, and she loved it, but it also made her a little sad.
Aww.
And I mean, there's all that's like, you know, she like had that kind of healing thing with like Luke's family, and then I feel like with Nancy's family, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was, like,
I mean, Eric's family before that, like,
true.
This is a pattern for her. Tom's family later, Will's
Right.
family later.
That's true. I mean, I like to picture in this case, like Drew hanging out with like Luke Wilson, and then his brothers like Owen and Andrew, like at Christmas time.
It's kind of funny because the article doesn't talk about he also has these brothers. Right. Yeah. I also remember her talking about being at, I think it was the first Thanksgiving with his family, and she was so nervous that she was holding a plate of food and accidentally
like, dropped it?
No, she was holding it like close to her chest and ended up getting it all over her shirt.
That sounds familiar.
That's so like classic Drew, right?
Totally.
Okay. So we get into Drew's kind of like agelessness, which is a theme of the podcast for sure. We talk about constantly.
Totally.
So there is mention of her emancipation. It literally says at age 15. Thank you. Just backing up my research from last episode. And Drew says, quote, the judge said he couldn't turn back the clock. He could only turn it forward. I remember thinking, thank God, I don't want to go back there. I just knew I am all of my responsibility. And I liked that feeling. Just pretty cool.
Yes. And then her longtime friend, Justine Badley, said of Drew has always been not older than her years, but the right age in Drew years. It's like dog years.
Yeah, it's Justine.
Yes. It says she was the same person she is now when she was 13. The same great values. Lately, she's just let go of the less useful ones.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it is. And I also wondered the same thing because Justine says that she's 12 years older than Drew.
Yeah.
And we know they've known each other since Drew was a teenager. So I don't think I realized that she was like basically twice her age maybe when they met. That's
it's
wild.
Really interesting. I would love to know the story there. Later on, if you guys don't know, she would go on to become a casting director of a lot of Flower Films movies, which is really neat. Mm-hmm. Okay, then I love this part.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Drew's house. It says it's her first, she bought her first home, but I'm like, that's not true because we know you just mentioned the one on Martell from 1995 and the beautiful description.
Yeah, the one that had all the painted walls.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so we're talking about the house on Cherokee Lane. This is the one that sadly would later burn down. It's funny, we were just talking about this too because Bill Maher like owns that property now.
Yep.
So it says that after she got this house after some time hopping around between hotels and short-term rentals. So that's kind of wild. Like, why wasn't she just living in Martell, I wonder?
Yeah, good question.
So here's this fantastic description of this house. And if you probably seen a little bit of this house because it was featured in InStyle. It had done a whole feature on it in 1999, which we have an episode about that too, actually.
Yes, we do.
So it says it's a solar heated recycled cedar treehouse of a house in Coldwater Canyon. The ceilings are high. The windows are always open. Recycled water circulates outside for the local fauna and the profusion of citrus trees and frondy flora. There's a tiki bar deck with a thatched roof, a sunken yoga studio, a screening room with comfy sectional sofas. So at least we know the screening room and the yoga studio and the tiki bar all still exist. Those didn't burn down.
Yeah.
At least there's that.
That's true.
Thanks, Bill Maher.
Yeah, and then this is neat. We've got like quotes from other people about her home. It is fun that this author Johanna like went and kind of, like you said, like talked to people about her.
Yeah.
So Nancy said about the house, it sounds opulent, but it's not the least bit fancy. It's very home sweet home. It's the kind of place where cobwebs look beautiful.
Perfect. That's totally how I always imagined it.
I love it. And then it says Luke's favorite room is the kitchen. There's a junky old boombox and daisies, always lots of daisies. It says Drew's a good cook, which is kind of a funny thing because Drew is never considered to have a good cook, especially then. Anyway,
totally.
It says, if you're hungry, she'll make you something, which to me is a good cook.
And that's so funny because when he was recently on the Drew Barrymore show, she's like, what is like your favorite memory of our time together? And he says he loved that she would make her, I think it was breakfast tacos. And I remember when he said that also thinking like, oh, I thought she like didn't really cook back then. So that must have really had an impact on Luke. He must have really liked those burritos or tacos.
But yeah, it's kind of funny.
So then there's like this kind of random pivot where Drew says that some of her friends from her teen years are either dead or hooked on drugs. And it's kind of funny because I remember when we talked to Todd Gold, he was sort of saying, I wonder what happened to these other kids that she was with. So sad, there we go. And Drew says, quote, and they find this glamour in self-sabotage. It confuses me to no end. I don't see the glory in it. I just see the sadness. This was really sweet. So she says that when she was younger, she was always like looking for the fun, which I mean, that's exactly what Little Girl Lost is about.
Yep.
But now she can just make fun in everything that she does. So I love that. She says,
me too.
I could be standing in a taco line and I'm like, and then the author says, here she mimics grinding her hips and sing-songing. I'm getting a taco. I'm getting a taco. Next, she mimics meeting someone's eye, being caught out. Sorry, I guess I'm excited. You know, I used to make fun of adults that I thought were dorks. If I saw a guy singing, I'm getting a taco, I'd be like, what a dork. Now I'm that guy and I'm loving it. So watch out because whatever you make fun of is going to come and bite you in the ass.
I can totally like,
the dance.
She dances about food on her show all the time. Like, it's so cute. It's so cute.
Shaking her butt, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Totally. It's like making my cheeks hurt. It's so cute. Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the recent films at the time. So the author writes about her recent film choices that seemed like kind of all over the map. But it says, but at the center of each is the same beating heart, Barrymore, playing a good woman who insists upon seeing the good in others, playing, that is, herself.
Oh,
that's sweet.
It's
really
sweet
because she talks about like admiring some of these characters when like, it's like the kindness of her that works. It says that even though her characters are often disappointed by life, they remain optimistic and look for the good.
That's such a cool like through line to see. Like the article does like get into which examples they're talking about, but it's really very true. Like most of her characters have something that's, I mean, it's a movie, right? So there's going to be like obstacles or things they have to overcome, but her characters always are like optimistic and persevering.
She had like a kind of a trend of these, especially at this time, right? Yeah.
So the author tells Drew that many of these films seem to be about forgiveness, and Drew strongly agrees with this. She says, quote, "I don't know who or what I would be forgiving, and maybe it's myself. I'm always trying to not be so hard on myself." Take a drink for that too, guys. "But I don't feel any awkwardness or bitterness towards my life, and I really like playing characters who feel that way, who aren't burdened by what's existed in their past and know how to make their pain into their strength." Oh my God, that's 100% her.
Making her pain into her strength is 100% what she's done. It says she understands that life will always include pain and thinks we should get into it and feel it. She said, "But I want us all to be able to get past it. Do you want to lug a 40-pound suitcase of steaming, stinking shit around all day? Or do you want to kick the bag and get rid of it?"
Kick the bag, man. We know that comes from her dad. I don't think I knew that like back in the day, but she's talked about it since. It's so funny.
Totally. And then the author says she throws a handful of sushi ginger into her mouth. Energetically, she chews. "I don't want to be a stinky poo-poo girl. I want to be a happy flower child. I believe you can be the person you dream of being."
That was definitely like an oft quoted on like old fan sites. That was like always under quotes.
I don't want to be a stinky poo-poo girl.
Okay, then we're getting to the end of the article, guys. So they kind of wrap up by talking about dreams. So Drew had recently had a dream that she was the 5th Spice Girl. And in case that's confusing, this was after Ginger Spice had left the group. So there were only 4 at the time. And in the dream, she was panicking because she didn't know any of the songs or dances, which is like, just cracks me up. I could totally see that. She admits that she's an insomniac, but she loves dreaming. And she does have very good reoccurring dreams about dolphins, which I thought was fun. And then I was thinking, there's like pictures of her when they were doing 50 First Dates where she's at like a swimming with the dolphins thing, right? Yeah. I'll have to pull them up.
That sounds familiar. I couldn't remember the timeline, but I totally can picture the pictures of it.
Like a dream come true for her. That's so cool, literally.
Yeah, and she says in her very favorite dream, she jumps off tall buildings and lands softly. She says, "Oh, I love those." She said, "I jumped off the Empire State Building in a dream." And it says, "And landed softly." Uh-huh. Barrymore smiles. "It was beatific." I love that.
But yeah, that's crazy to me because that's the kind of dream that would like, I would hate. Hate it. Falling off a building. No, thank you. But
I think most people associate those with like really scary, like.
But that's so Drew to like, she has that adventurous spirit, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Drew.
True, Drew. So that's the article, but we're not done.
We are not done. There's a little bit more. So in January of 1999, the letters to the editor included feedback about this issue. So we're going to get into this a little bit.
So sweet.
Because
these are our kind comments this week, guys. Yes. This is really fun. And the first one, this is really special. The first one printed in this magazine is from the original Drew B. Queen, our friend Missy, who started the fan sites where Anne and I met and the Grapevine message board. So, and this is such a like Missy thing to write. It's so good. Okay. So Missy writes, "Drew Barrymore is the purest, yummiest, most lung-soothing breath of fresh air in Hollywood, and your recent cover story proves it. Thank you for publishing such an eloquent and honest interview. It moved me to tears right there in the store."
Oh, I love it so
That's
much.
so Missy. If you guys know Missy, that is so Missy.
Yeah, like the yummiest, most lung-soothing breath of fresh air in Hollywood. It's so perfect. And we should read more, right? Like see how other people are reacting.
Yes, let's read them all.
Okay, so it says, "Thanks to writer Johanna Schneller for highlighting Drew Barrymore as the beatific person she is. Most interviews I have read focus on the Barrymore quote-unquote curse and Drew's troubled past. It is only when she speaks that you realize she is living proof that everything happens for a reason. Your interview oozes positive energy and illustrates the very essence of who Drew Barrymore is." And this was written in by Annie Kenny from Long Beach, California.
So good. I love that these are all positive too.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mike Powell, who sent an email from P_B1 at hotmail.com. I just love that there's like email addresses. This is like the beginning of that.
Well,
so
and Missy's is Chris Mystery.
Yeah, which I remember that being like her sort of identity online. Yeah. Okay, so Mike says, from E.T. to Poison Ivy to The Wedding Singer, Drew Barrymore has always impressed me. She's an actress of unmistakable talent and unmatched beauty. I'm glad she's hitting new heights of popularity. Yes, Mike, she sure was at this time. This was like
Renaissance.
This is it. He's so right.
That's great. Okay, we've got two more guys. So Rosalinda Linder from Vallejo, California. She said, Miss Barrymore has flown from her crippling cocoon to share her cheerful and charming inner beauty in a time when so many are jaded or spiritless. Kudos to us for documenting the beautiful butterfly.
Wow. These are really nice.
Yeah, they are.
Like I read them beforehand, but I kind of forgot how good they are.
I hadn't reread them in a while.
And then our final one is from Stephanie Harrell from Simi Valley, California. Stephanie said, Drew has a light inside her. Take a drink. Drew has a light inside her that shines even in print. Her optimism and genuine love for the simple pleasures in life make me want to throw my arms around her and give her a big squeeze.
Aw, I'm glad it doesn't say her love for the simple pleasures in life made me want to throw up.
Again, like Johanna, the writer, why is this working? Why am I agreeing with her? This is supposed to be annoying.
So good. And yeah, like we love that Missy popped up in this. Like I remember I remember getting the clipping later and being so like happy to have like something that Missy wrote in about Drew in my Drew collection.
You see my little hand-drawn rectangle I put around her name with a gel pen. Remember those gel pens?
Yes.
The sparkly gel pens.
It's sparkly.
Why did I do that? Oh my God. So funny.
Because we wanted to highlight it in a, just like how with the article, we didn't want that pesky handwriting to be distracting us. We wanted to cut out Drew hanging from those bars.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so before we wrap things up, we just want to give a little heads up. We have told you guys that we're going to appear on a show called Collector's Call, and it is about us and our Drew Barrymore collection, the Drewseum. So that is slated to air on MeTV on October 12th, right? Is that the right date? Yeah, it's a Sunday. So before we come on here again, it'll have aired. So they told us not to officially announce it yet. Like, we're not putting it on social media yet. But if you're here and you stayed to the end, you get to know. And please watch out for that. And we'll keep you posted.
Yeah, we will. And we'll be talking about it.
Yeah,
so.
We're going to talk about it on our next episode because it was like quite an experience. So it's just, we'll get into it, guys. We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. And we're looking forward to more people like knowing about our little Drew Barrymore museum, the Drewseum.
There could be people who are coming and listening to this episode because they watched the episode of Collector's Call.
That's very true.
Hi,
so
guys.
if you're here because of that, welcome.
Welcome, and thank you for being here. And if you liked this episode, you could rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff wherever you're listening to us. Give us some feedback. You can also find us on Instagram at How Do You Drew Pod and also at Drewseum. On How Do You Drew Pod Instagram today, I put up some movies that I think you should watch during October, some Drew movies. It was pretty fun to curate that. You can also now leave comments on episodes on Spotify. So if you just found us and you thought we were fun and cool and you want to leave positive letters to the editor like everyone did about Drew's article, go do that.
Please do. And please visit our website at howdoyoudrew.com to see the episode gallery for this episode and every episode, and peruse the Drewseum while you're at it. Make sure you check out our Drew Barrymore Museum, especially if you're here from Collector's Call. Hopefully you've already kind of checked it out.
Well, you know what's wild is like whatever you're seeing on Collector's Call is like a tiny little drop in the bucket of our collection, and we'll tell you why, but there's so much more, guys. There's so much more than what they're going to show.
It's kind of wild. How could anyone ever understand the breadth of it? All right. So also, we've mentioned it a couple times, but sign up for our Patreon.
Patreon.com/howdoyoudrew.
where we have covered Little Girl Lost in its entirety, and we are hoping to dive into Wildflower next. So there's tons of content up there, and there's more to come. And don't forget to send listener mail to howdoyoudrewpod@gmail.com or reach out to us on any of those other platforms. We are listening.
You're listening, and we're excited if you're just finding us. So hello.
Yeah, totally. Yes. And thank you for being here, and we'll see you all next Tuesday.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. This episode of the How Do You Drew podcast was researched and produced by Ashley and Ann from thedruseum.com with help from our sponsor, Positive Medium.
Special thanks to Matt Costa for our lovely theme song, Roxy Prima for our adorable logo, and last but not least, Drew Barrymore and all the Drewbies who love her. We do this for you.
Thank you.